respond in terms of some of the mistakes that I made. Yeah. I would say, first of all, you go to Our Lady and start praying for your wife. Because let's face it, she needs special graces because she's married to you. My wife needed special graces because she was married to me. And the first step is to pray for her more than ever before. The second, I would say, is to get spiritual direction from a priest who is experienced, who's wise, who's not necessarily young and on fire, but old and seasoned veteran, and get that kind of advice. The third thing is to take that advice and to really back off the kind of debating or the kind of setting straight, or here, if you'd only read this, you'd get all your questions answered, and really intensify the love, the unconditional love, the romance, not any pretentious stuff, but make it a priority to compliment her, to take her out on a date, to do for your bride what Christ does for his.
I was going to read you a verse, just I love you to comment on scriptures, but this particular verse from 1 Peter about husband's responsibility adds a little bit more than even Paul does when he says, husbands, live considerate with your wives, bestowing honor on the woman as the weaker sex, since you are joint heirs with the grace of life, in order that your prayers may not be hindered.
Yeah.
I mean, how often people say, what can I do to help them come into the church? And when we say, well, pray for them, as if it's flippant.
Right. Like that's all you can do. But it's not, it's substantial. It's substantial. And you can ask your guardian angel to pray. You can ask your guardian angel to work with her guardian angel to pray. And you do need to differentiate. I mean, Scott and I talked a lot about it, the difference between the role of the Holy Spirit and the role of the husband, and not to confuse the two. I think the closer you are, and marriage has got to be as close as you come, it's fewer words, it's greater actions. When Scott began to go to confession and come back different, gentler, looking for ways to serve, it spoke more to me about the truthfulness of the sacrament of confession than going through a Bible study on it. The one thing I would say, which is probably not what you'd expect me to say, is it's very important that you honor Christ before all. And when you have that conviction that to not become Catholic would be to disobey the Lord, then you need to release the grace you can release into your family by becoming Catholic. And to the best of your ability, you say to your wife, I'm not doing this to spite you, even though it may not feel like it. I am doing this out of love for you, and first and foremost, out of love for Christ.